everyone. I'm going to take a look at the new Player of the Week pack on eFootball. There's also a Champions League Player of the Week pack. I'll review that one separately. Hopefully that'll be live later today. As always, there'll be timestamps in the description for each player. So if you want to hear about particular players, click the description and there'll be a link to take you straight to them. So lowest rated, we'll start with this guy, Jubal, however you say it. We have a centre-back from Auxerre in France. No face scan. It's about 6'3", good height. Right-footed, destroyer. Decent slashing skills. He's not got all the skills he needs. They've added a few. It's the first time I've got a featured version of this guy. Low lofted pass is new. Penalty specialist is new. Interception and aerial. He's lacking blocker. Acrobatic clearance, maybe sliding tackle. So he's missing a few. He's got most of the important ones, but he is missing a few. Defense is mostly good, but engagement is low. I always say low defensive engagement on Destroyer is a big problem for me. Destroyers do tend to step out of position quite a bit, and that engagement doesn't help. Pace is kind of okay, but it's not great. Kicking power is low. Balance is horrible. Jumping and physical are kind of okay. Yeah, you've got to. I mean, is this guy a 5-star even? He's barely a 5-star. 92. That's the threshold. 91 would have been a 4-star, so he's barely a 5-star. Not that the star ratings mean anything these days in this game, but yeah, he's kind of all right. If you literally just got the game and you desperately need centre-back options, sure, he could do a job for you. But anyone who's been playing the game more than a few weeks, really, is going to have better centre-back options than this guy. He's not terrible. He's just not particularly great. And like I say, that defensive engagement, especially with the destroyer play style, that just scares the hell out of me. So yeah, this guy will be getting released straight away if I get him. And it's not like we get the French League challenge anyways. So yeah, I don't see many people having much use for this guy. He's not terrible, but he's really not great. So yeah, unless you're very new to the game, I think this guy's probably going to be getting released by most people. And now we have Vanja. We were expecting this guy. So this guy is massive. Vanja Milinković-Savić, 202 centimeters, and he has a fantastic beard. Had a really good game against AC Milan. And we had a few versions of Vanja. This one is, I make it the best version we've had of him. We had a few Player of the Week ones. This one is better than the previous ones, mainly with the goalkeeper awareness being a few points higher than the previous ones. The kind of stats get shuffled around a bit with each version, but it is the best one in terms of trainable ones as well. We had one that was close to this one, not quite as good. The other one, the overall rating is the same, but it's a trainable. And what you find with trainable goalkeepers, the highlight cards, is that they don't nerf the jumping like they do in the Player of the Week ones, and that affects his overall rating. So whereas the jumping going down reduces his rating, it goes back up with these attributes. Whereas on the trainable kind of highlight cards, it's more balanced. So what you find with that trainable one, that's the next best card outside of this one, that's the same overall rating. The jumping's higher, but these attributes aren't quite as good, and these attributes are what matters. So this for me is the best version of Milinković-Savić. They've added penalty saver, of course, because he saved that penalty. Really good save. I think long throws new as well. According to eFootball Hub it is. So low punt, high punt, long throw, penalty saver. Yeah, it's a solid keeper this. You look at the attributes and you're thinking, right, no, he's not amazing. Certainly the reflex at 84, I'd like to be at least 85, but the big positive with this guy is his size. He's huge. His reach is going over 90 with the game plan boost. His awareness is hitting 90. Yes, the catching's a bit dodgy and the reflexes are lower than you'd want them to be, but the parring's okay. So on the whole, I'm not going to say this is an elite level keeper, but this is one of these ones where he's huge and he's going to have fantastic reach, fantastic coverage of his goal, and of course he's got that excellent beard. So yeah, he's not on the top level of goalkeepers, but certainly it's the best version we've had of Vanja. And as a huge goal, he's going to have a great coverage of his goal. Certainly with the Italian League challenge popping up now and then, if you get that, I think this certainly is a solid goalkeeper option. He's a bit different to other keepers with his sheer size, but yeah, for a lot of people, I reckon he's going to be well worth keeping, and I'll be very keen to pick this guy up. On to our first booster now. So we've got Marco Asensio, whole player attacking midfielder. So interestingly, I only noticed this when I was looking at this Player of the Week pack, but they've changed his GP card to a centre forward and given him deep line forward playing style, and they've taken away left mid and left wing. Excuse me. So we've lost those two positions on the left flank, but we've gained SS and centre forward, and we've got a whole player version on this Player of the Week card, and he's a booster. We'll activate the booster straight away. What we got? Shooting, I guess. Striker's instinct, there we go. So yeah, we've had a previous Player of the Week version of Asensio. That was a similar one in terms of overall rating. Not a massive difference, but this one's got the booster. The booster does give it the edge over that one, but obviously it's got the whole player playing style. You've got centre forward and SS. That previous one doesn't have those two positions, but it does have left mid and left wing. Much higher lofted pass. So yeah, not necessarily better or worse, just depends on, you know, your personal preferences with the play style and the positions and stuff. If you look at the previous train rules, it's the same thing with the positions. All previous versions of Asensio have got the difference in positions. None of them are quite as good statistically as this one in terms of the overall rating, but you know what they do with these Player of the Week cards? They shuffle the attributes around, so it just depends on where your priorities lie on the ball, passing, pace, etc. None of them quite as good overall, but it just depends on your preference. You might prefer some of those previous versions. They tend to be better on the ball depending how you train them, but just not as good in other areas. So yeah, it's not the standout best version of Asensio in my opinion, but statistically it is, and it's certainly one of the better ones. And the playing style might be preferable for you, as the positions might be as well. In terms of skills, what they've done to him skill-wise is they've taken away. I'm trusting eFootball Hub again here, but Marseille turn, dipping shot, and rising shot are gone. That might be a shame for some people, but we've gained acrobatic finishing, first-time shot, one-touch pass, and fighting spirit, as we seem to always get on attacking players and Player of the Week. So. Yeah, interesting trade. We've certainly got more end product though. First time shot is a very good one, as is one touch pass. He's already got through passing. Outside curler's handy. Is he 2-footed? No, he never uses weaker foot, so outside curler's a good one to have. He's a super sub already, which is great. So yeah, shooting and passing, super sub. Really good selection skills he's got in him. It's an interesting one, Asensio. He's kind of... He's got reasonable pace. I'm just looking at his GP card. I mean, you look at his GP card, obviously his GP card's a centre forward now, so it's not really fair to look at what they've made better or worse from his GP card, because they've obviously changed the profile of the guy. But if you were to train his GP card up as an attacking midfielder, he's a bit better on the ball. The finishing's not as good, the attacking awareness is not as good. He's not got quite as much pace. They boost his physical contact and balance a bit as well, but it just depends on how you train his GP card, like I say, because it's a centre forward card these days. But yeah, we've got reasonable pace on this guy. It depends where you're going to play him. You could probably get away with playing him on the right, to be honest. He's got just about enough pace. He's decent on the ball. He does have a very good left foot. He's got some kicking power on him with the maximum game plan boost. He's hitting 90 for kicking power, which is great. His passing's not amazing. That's the one concern for me with this guy. If you're going to look at this guy through the middle, as a centre mid, there's no way I play him there. Defensively awful. He's not got any defensive skills. Attacking midfielder though, it's not just it's the passing basically. I always say this: if you don't mind the low pass being at 81, if you think 81 low pass with one touch pass and through passing is enough, good for you, because he's got plenty of qualities. He could well be a good attacking midfielder for you. But for me and for anyone else who feels that 81's not high enough, even with the passing skills, I wouldn't play him as AMF. You need better passing than that, in my opinion. SS maybe he could be a very interesting SS. His finishing's really good. That kicking power as well. The fact he's got long range shooting, long range curler, first time shot. SS could be a really good position for this guy. It could be very, very useful there. I think that's probably what in my opinion, the position this card would be best in. I think it could be a very interesting SS. Tidy on the ball, awareness and finishing. Passing not amazing, but decent enough in that position. He's got a little bit of pace about him and that kicking power as well, popping shots off. I think it could be a really tidy SS behind the attack. Centre forward for me, the awareness and finishing, even on A form, not quite high enough. Certainly when it's not on A form, 81 awareness is not high enough. 83 finishing is pretty dodgy as well. So I'm not sure I'd use this guy as a striker. You could get away with it. Some people might find, that there are people who would say the awareness and finishing aren't that important, and you can get away with them there. He's got first time shot, he's got the shooting skills, and with the passing skills and how good he is on the ball, he can be a very interesting centre forward if you don't mind the awareness and finishing being as low as they are, but they are too low in my opinion. And like I say, from the right flank, with the shooting skills, especially long range curler, the finishing, curl, kicking power, he could have a very interesting left-footed long range curler coming off the right flank. So yeah, could be an option off the right flank as a kind of number 10. Certainly, in my opinion, more advanced as an SS could be where he's best. With that left foot of his, the awareness and finishing, whole player playing style as well, which will be active right mid, centre mid, attacking mid, SS. He won't have an active playing style centre forward or wide right, but you've got a few ways you could use this guy. I don't think this is an elite level card by any means, but I think he's got a lot of qualities, and in my opinion, especially behind the attack as an advanced kind of number 10 around the SS position. I think he could be very useful. I think maybe not so much with creating goals in the past and not being high, but certainly with scoring goals with this guy's left foot and the kicking power he's got. Could be a very interesting one. And he's got a very old face scan before I forget. He needs that updated. But yeah, inconsistent form, that's a bit of a downer, but he seems to have made a decent start of Villa, so hopefully there's more A and B for one coming. But yeah, Could be a very useful card, this one. He's versatile, got a few positions, especially as a super sub as well. Good set of skills. I think for quite a few people, this guy could be a pretty useful card. And we have another booster now, and we got Luka. We have had quite a few Player of the Week cards of Luka Modrić at this point. He's got a face scan, of course. It's pretty old now. They need to update that. Let's just activate the boosters straight away. So what's that? Shooting? Shooting, there we go, of course. Great goal he scored. Unwavering form, of course. He's a box-to-box this time, Luka. His regular playing style is orchestrator, and they made DMF fully proficient. I'm pretty sure he used to have that fully proficient. I'm sure I had a version of Modrić at one point that had that fully proficient. I might be wrong though. But they've made it fully proficient on this card. If you look at the overall rating, this one ranks pretty highly among all the previous Player of the Week cards of Modrić. But it's another one of these cards where it's the way they've shuffled the attributes around. He's not as good in the ball as he often is, in the passing as well. But they've made him better defensively. They made him better physically. That's the story with this card, really. It's the defenses, the kind of physical strength, the stamina as well. That's where they beefed him up, but at the expense of some of the technicals and the offensive stats. So it depends on what kind of profile you want on Modrić in terms of his attributes. I don't think it's going to be the build that most people would want, but if you do want a version of Modrić, you can play a bit deeper, you can put his foot in, do a little bit of defending, then this could be one of the better versions of him for you. It's a similar story with the trainable versions of him. Obviously with trainable versions of Modrić, you look at the better ones, if you train them up to be a DMF, you can make them as good defensively, but you can't really make them as good as this card defensively and physically, and with the stamina as well. So I think with this kind of profile as an all-rounder who can put his foot in and do a bit of defensive work, this is one of the very best versions of Modrić. It's just like I say, the previous versions of him, whether it's a Player of the Week one or whether it's a trainable one where you allocate the points yourself to do so, you can make them much better going forward. Quite often the attacking awareness, the finishing, you'd think they'd make his finishing better after scoring that goal, but yeah, never mind. But yeah, on the ball passing, he does tend to be better technically, but he's still good technically, he's still good on the ball, still got great passing. The awareness is a bit low, the finishing, like I say, I think it should be high after the goal he scored, but defensively we've had that boost, that tackling up to 80 before your game plan boost. Physical contact, I think, just about as good as ever been on Modrić. Still got great balance, fantastic stamina, kicking power's good, pace is okay for a midfielder. It's an interesting profile. What have they done skill-wise? They must have given him something shooting-wise. Yeah, they've given him dipping shot. They've taken away sombrero and no-look pass. I think we can live without them. And dipping shot has been added alongside fighting spirit, of course. That is flavour of the month at Konami. So yeah, I say it's probably the best version of him defensively as an all-rounder, but would have been nice if we had one or two defensive skills. So yeah, I'm not saying he should have had a base in his performance, but just looking at this version of Modrić for what he is and with the kind of balance of attributes that he's got, with the boost he's got defensively and physically, doesn't have any defensive skills to back that up, which is a shame. So yeah, if you're looking at this version of Modrić thinking, great, he's better defensively and physically now, I can use him a bit deeper, yeah, you can, but no interception, no other defensive skills, that's a bit of a shame. So does it all marry together to make him that good of an option as a defensive mid? I'm not sure. I think most people would prefer a version of Modrić he can get forward with, who's great on the ball with his passing, who can carry the ball well and so on. So yeah, obviously he's a great version of Modrić, as you'd expect. He's got some great slashing skills when he gets on the ball. They beefed him up a lot in terms of the defenses, the physicals and so on, but with the previous versions being better in the areas where most people would want Modrić to be better, as much as it's one of the better versions of him statistically, I just don't think the balance of his attributes and everything is going to make him that exciting to anyone who's already got a good version of him that they like. But if you don't have a good version of him already, yes, he's not as good as he can be technically, but they have boosted him in some areas. It's quite a unique version of him in that regard. It's just a question of whether the overall profile works for you. If it does, then it could be a great one, but I think for most people it's just kind of not the most exciting version of Modrić, but in isolation, certainly a very interesting card. I just think without the defensive skills to back up the attributes, he's not that great defensively to play deep, and going forward is not as good as he could be, but it's a solid midfielder card, no question. It's just not as good as it could have been as a Luka Modrić card. And next we have Lookman. Had another good game for Atalanta. Of course, he's got a face scan. We've got whole player SS. That is his usual playing style and position, although they have put his weaker for accuracy up one, so that's good. We've had a few Player of the Week versions of Lookman. There's a roaming flank quite a while back that wasn't quite so great, but the two more recent ones, there's been a whole player, and there was a a goal poacher centre forward version as well. Those two are both pretty similar to this one on the whole, to be honest. You compare all the attributes, there's not a massive difference with either of those. In terms of the trainable versions we've had of Lookman, we've had a Showtime, which is obviously the best version we've had of him. Outside of that, probably two of the better ones are the free one after the Atalanta won the Europa League when he got the hat-trick in the final, and the nominating contract one, or rather I think it was the match pass one, wasn't it? I've still got them in my inbox. I'm hoarding match pass players in my inbox. Those two are probably the two that most people have of this guy. They're a little bit better than this one on the ball. They've got a bit more acceleration as well when you auto allocate them, but this one's got much better lofted pass and defending and kind of physical strength. So yeah, bearing in mind what's most important on this guy, I think most people would probably be better off with either that free one or the match pass one, especially since you can train those cards. They're boosted in those two areas, defending and physical strength. They do that on attacking players a lot in Player of the Week. It kind of annoys me a bit because it kind of artificially boosts their ability when those aren't the attributes that you really want to be boosted. Especially when they consider they put some attributes down that they really, that are important to attacking players. For example, dribbling on Lookman is down a bit. He's lost a bit of his dribbling. We've lost a bit of acceleration. We've lost a bit of balance as well. Very annoying, but they've added a bit to his attacking awareness and his finishing. Boosted his kicking power, his stamina. His lofted passes had a big boost. I think about 12 points on his lofted pass, so that's good. It's still not going to be amazing at crossing, but he does have pinpoint. Yeah, he's got pinpoint crossing, so you're at least going to hit 80 for lofted pass. So his crossing will be okay, even if it's not amazing. What else have they done skill-wise? So we've lost Marseille turn. They always take Marseille turn away from players. If you like doing Marseille turns, you're probably not going to be very happy with Konami right now. But yeah, we've lost Marseille turn. I think chop turn as well. Gamesmanship, but we've gained a one-touch pass, pinpoint crossing. So pinpoint crossing's new. And of course, fighting spirit again. All these attacking players in Player of the Week these days are getting fighting spirit. So yeah, we've got a good selection of skills in this guy. You've got some end product with him. He's shooting skills, passing. We've got crossing now as well, and he's a super sub. He's already got super sub. But yeah, 78 lofted pass and curl, a bit of kicking power as well. His crossing will be okay. It won't be amazing, but he's certainly a lot more usable on the right if you do put crosses in this version of Lookman. So that's one big positive for this guy if that's something that works for you. But with the shooting skills, especially long range curler, which he's already got, certainly come off the left flank. I think that's probably where most people would want to use this guy. As a left midfielder, he'll have that whole player playing style active. He'll be bursting forward into good positions, good attacking awareness, good finishing. With the shooting skills he's got, good on the ball, good pace, could be very tidy off the left wing. Won't have an active playing style as a left wing forward, but he'll still be pretty effective there. I think he's got the attacking awareness and all the other ability he needs there. As an SS, I don't think his low pass is good enough. I would be a bit mindful of whether his passing is going to be good enough. Yes, we've got one touch pass and through passing, but 72 low pass is horrible. You could get away with it for sure, but it just depends on how you're going to use him there. If you're going to be passing the ball, a lot, then yeah, like I say, 72 low pass just behind the attack is not enough for me. As a centre forward, attacking awareness and finishing for me, I always say it too low. I want at least mid 80s, 85 minimum, and even that for me is not quite as high as I want it to be. So not for me, but again, some people might think those are okay. Only 83 awareness and finishing. If you can get away with that, he's great on the ball for a striker. Got the pace, got a good selection of skills, but he doesn't have first time shot though. So yeah, for some people you could get away with him as a striker, but not for me. But I do think it's a useful card though. You've got a bunch of areas where you could use him. You could get away with him through the middle. Certainly you could use him on the right. He's better at crossing than he has been previously. On the left, I think is where most people would want to put him, cutting onto his right foot with the shooting skills he's got. So yeah, an unwavering form as well, and a super sub, and he's having such a good season. It's not the best version of Lookman. Like I say, there was the Showtime one. I think the best trainables are probably a bit better on the whole, but it's still a very good version of Lookman. It ranks pretty well against most of the previous versions we've had of him. If you don't have a good version already, useful. That playing style will be active in a few of his positions. Unwavering form, super sub, plenty of ability. I think it'll be a very nice card to pick up for a lot of people, especially as an option for the Italian League Challenge if you don't already have a good version of him. So if you do already have a good version, don't think it's really worth spinning for him. But if you don't, and if you do get this guy, I think it's a pretty tidy card you'll have in your hands. And now Hiroki Ito is back from injury and already in Player of the Week. So of course he's got a face card and he's from Japan. Defensive fullback, left back. So he has been a defensive fullback, left back before, but he's kind of had I don't know how many times they've changed his position playing style in the game, but he's been a centre-back build-up at times. He's been a left-back defensive full-back at times. I think they've recently changed him back because I'm sure when they brought out a new transfers pack when he joined Bayern, he was a centre-back build-up at that point, but they changed him to a left-back, even though he's not been playing. And that's what he is now. He can obviously play centre-back as well, but yeah, I'm not sure those defensive attributes really are good enough for centre-back. They put his weak foot accuracy up. Just noticed that, so that's good. We've not only played the week versus Vito, we've had a few trainables. So, like I say, there was that one when there was a new transfers pack when he joined Bayern. That was a centre-back. If you look at all the previous trainables, as a centre-back, they're all better in the important areas. The defensive attributes, physical and jumping, they're all better in those areas, but they can't compete with the pace and all the other attributes on this card. So it depends on what strengths you look for in a centre-back. But if the strengths you look for are the ones that really matter, for example, the ability to defend, the previous versions are better. This guy, for me, I would never put this guy in a centre-back. Tackling 81, no thank you. Engagement's not great either. Jumping physical might not be terrible, but they're not particularly good. So as a centre-back, not for me, but I think as a left-back, certainly. He could be very usable there if you like a defensive full-back. The previous trainables, if you train them all as a left-back, none of them are quite as good as this one. But the new transfers pack and the version that was in the recent Bayern pack aren't far off, to be honest. Not a million miles away, but I think on the whole, this is the best left-back version we've had of Ito. If you look at his GP card, same kind of story, really. You can't make him as good as a centre-back. Obviously, as a left back, he's not going to be as good either. But the one real significant difference between his GP card and this one is the acceleration, where he's had a big boost. Apart from that, nothing's really massively better. Just on the whole, everything's a little bit better. So yeah, obviously a big boost from his GP card, but it's really the acceleration mainly. He's got unwavering form, and skill-wise, I think they've just added heading and first-time shot. That's about it. So he got heading and aerial, got man marking, search and block, acrobatic clearance. Got a good searching skills, certainly for a centre back, even if you've not quite got the attributes to back the skills up. As a left back, I'm not sure long range shooting or first-time shot are going to come into the equation on a defensive fullback because he's not going to be getting forward. Through passing and weighted pass, though, and nice to have on a fullback. Generally on a fullback, I'd like pinpoint crossing, but if he's a defensive fullback, I don't think that's so important. So I'd certainly take through passing and weighted pass if you're not getting pinpoint crossing. I think overall he's got a very good searching skills for a defensive fullback. I just don't know if he's that good, to be honest. Has he got enough pace? Not sure. The defensive awareness is the one attribute he's got that's really good as any kind of fullback. That's hitting 90 with your maximum game plan boost. He's got a good amount of physical strength for a fullback as well. But apart from that, has he got the pace? Questionable. Balance is not great. Yeah, the stamina's good. Down the left, is he good in the ball? I mean, I think for most people who like using defensive fullbacks, that's probably okay. Those attributes, for me, on any kind of fullback, I'd like it to be more comfortable on the ball. But like I say, a lot of people, if you like it, using defensive fullbacks, you're probably going to, more often than not, people would be okay with those attributes. So I think on the whole, it's a solid defensive fullback. I just don't think it's an amazing one. Yes, the awareness is good. He's quite strong, good stamina. But outside of that, what is there that's really particularly good? Certainly his skill set's good. It's great, but in terms of the attributes, not a bad card by any means. And if you're lacking options as a defensive fullback, you like that playing style, then it could be a solid one to pick up. He can certainly defend. I just don't think he's that outstanding, really. He's just got one or two very good attributes, and the rest are very kind of average for me. So, yeah, not a bad card. Again, Bayern, we don't get a Bundesliga challenge, so you'll be looking at divisions and so on with this guy. And like I say, is it a bad card? No. But is it a particularly amazing one? No, I don't think it's amazing. Just one or two very good stats and a great searching of skills, but the attributes for the most part, not bad, just not particularly great, really. So it's a decent card. It could be a solid option for some people, but I don't think it's one that too many people are going to be getting too excited about. Ryan is back in Player of the Week. I got the previous version of this guy. This time we've got a creative playmaker version of Mbeumo. So it's got a face scan. Normally, Bryan Mbeumo is a prolific winger. All the previous versions of him on the game are prolific winger, at least in terms of highlight cards. His GP card used to be a dummy runner, actually, at the start of the game. But yeah, all the previous Player of the Week and trainables have been prolific wingers. We've now got a creative playmaker version. It's not a playing style that I like on a winger. I always say that. I like my wingers to be more aggressive and make a lot of attacking runs. Playmakers hold back a bit, and that frustrates me. But if you like that playing style on a wide man, great. It's a playing style that will be active right mid, right wing, also at SS. You can play centre forward as well without an active playing style. I wouldn't play him there because, again, attacking awareness 80 is really not good enough for a centre forward. Finishing 83 is better, but it's still not great. Again, if you feel that his attributes are high enough, sure, the attributes elsewhere, the pace on the ball and everything, could be useful centre forward, but for me, the most important attributes are not high enough. But certainly, as a wide man on the right, maybe as an SS, if you focus more on shooting than passing, like I was saying with I think it was Asensio just now. And on Lookman, he could be useful as SS if you're focusing on scoring rather than creating goals. But it's a decent another decent version of Mbeumo. This is very similar to the previous one. I got that previous one. There was an older one as well, but that wasn't quite as good as this one, not quite on this level. But the more recent one that I got had a booster. Before the booster, very similar to this card, to be honest. Really not a massive difference apart from the playing style, but when that previous version gets the booster, it is a bit better than this one. So that's a little bit of a shame. In terms of the trainable versions we've had of Mbeumo, there's one in the Premier League pack a while back now. Wasn't quite as good as this one. There's one in some kind of legend box, like English attackers or something like that. Pretty similar on the whole, but the stats are shuffled around a bit, slightly different kind of balance. From his GP card, the boost they've given this guy, this version of Mbeumo, is really mainly finishing, physical contact, and a bit more speed. That's about it. Otherwise, it's generally a bit of a boost from his GP card. Skill-wise, we've lost Scissors Feint. I think we can live without that. And Penalty Specialist. We've gained First Time Shot and Through Passing. I thought you already had through passing. Maybe he doesn't. First Time Shot and Through Passing, very important ones to have. Those are two good skills. We've already got long range curler, long range shooting, and our first line shot as well. So that's a great set of skills shooting wise. Coming off that right flank onto his left foot, finishing already in the 80s before your game plan boost. He's got a little bit of curl about him, decent kicking power. So coming off that right flank, very well equipped. And his low pass might be pretty bad at 73, but through passing will help. That would improve it. Pinpoint crossing. His crossing will be okay. As with Lookman, you're going to go just past 80 with your game plan boost on lofted pass. A little bit of curl and some kicking power. So his crossing won't be too bad if you cut inside and put some crosses in. I think on the whole, it's a solid version of Mbeumo. Maybe the playing style will be what swings it for you. Like I say, for me personally, it's just my personal preference, but I don't like that playing style on a winger. But if you do like that playing style on a winger, this could be a very nice version of Mbeumo for you. He's quick. He's decent on the ball. He's not amazing. I think usually in Player of the Week, if we get a winger in Player of the Week, you'd want him to be able to hit 90 or one or two of these on the ball attributes. So maybe slightly disappointing on the ball. I think it's about the same as that previous one. I've not tried the previous one a great deal that I've got. I've got to be honest, when I've used it, he seems all right, but not amazing. He's kind of just a solid option if you need one really in the English League Challenge. That's the way I see my one. It's not one that's going to be getting anywhere near my main team anytime soon. But certainly a solid one. Decent awareness. And the finishing. So there's an inverted ring off the right flank if the playing style works for you. It's a solid card. It's not the best version of Mbeumo. The previous one was a little bit better with the booster, but certainly is a solid option as an inverted ringer. And if you like the playing style, if it all kind of suits you, then not an amazing card, but it could be a decent option, certainly for the English League Challenge. And Dani Olmo is next. He has been in Player of the Week a few times. Of course, he's got a face scan. Got his usual playing style and position and everything. Profile's pretty much the same as usual. The best Player of the Week version we've had of this guy, probably the two most recent ones, similar to be honest. Playing style, stats just kind of shuffled around a little bit, just kind of same overall rank, just slightly different profile. And then trainable wise, obviously Showtime version the best. Always say that. Seem to be saying that about a lot of players these days. But apart from the Showtime version, you look at the best trainables. There's one from a Legend pack and one from the recent Barcelona pack, which are probably the best ones. And they're about the same as this one overall, like with the two recent Player of the Week ones, just kind of stats shuffled around a little bit. This one's kind of got a bit more speed, finishing, physical contact than the better trainable versions of him. Those are some of the things that have boosted from his GP card, unsurprisingly. So speed, kicking power, finishing, and his defensive ability. Again, an attacking player has had a nice boost on his defensive ability. Awesome. A bit more physical strength. Been nerfed a bit on the ball, bit of a shame, but it's still good enough. All three of his on the ball attributes are going to hit 90 with the maximum game plan boost, so I think we can live with that because he has had a decent boost overall with a bit more speed and finishing on it. Certainly, I think those are two nice attributes, especially to boost on a whole player when you use him as an attacking midfielder, making those attacking runs. Bit more speed on him and finishing when he gets to good attacking positions. What have we got skill wise here? They've taken away dipping shot, I think, and added rising shot. Interesting. Acrobatic finishing, I think, is gone as well. And they've added outside curler. So, yeah, pros and cons there. Interesting swap. He's already a super sub. Always good to have a super sub, especially in attacking one like Olmo, a whole player. One touch and through passing. So he's got the passing skills. Long range curler as well if you use him off the left wing. This could be an interesting version of Olmo off the left wing, to be honest. He won't have an active playing style as a wide forward, but he can certainly play there. He's got decent attacking awareness in that position, good on the ball. He's got a bit more speed than he normally does. He's got reasonable pace. He can pass it, and he's got the finish as well, especially with that long range curler skill. So, yeah, as a wide left option, this could be one of the better versions of Dani Olmo, to be honest. Certainly as an attack midfielder. Low pass. It's not as high as I'd like it to be, but it's not bad. You're going to get to about 89 with your maximum game plan boost. He's got one touch and through passing. The finishing's good. He'll get into good positions. Yeah, it's an interesting version of Olmo. The stamina's not great. Keep that in mind. If you start this guy as a whole player attacking midfielder, he will get tired because a whole player will make a lot of attacking movements. So he will run out of energy by about probably the hour mark, something like that. So do be careful with that. But yeah, he's got the passing skills. He's got long range curler. Inbound crossing, I'm not sure how good his passing crossing will be. Kind of okay-ish, but I'm not sure I'd play this guy on the right. I think definitely wide left coming inside with that long range curler skill, with the finishing ability he's got, with the passing as well as an attacking mid. Those are the two positions I'd use this guy. And yeah, there's been a Showtime that's better, and there's been a few previous ones around a similar level, so you might not necessarily need this version of Olmo, but with the ability he's got, having a bit of a boost on his speed, his finishing, I think either through the middle or wide left, it's a very nice version of Olmo. So if you don't have a good version of him, this could be a really nice card to pick up, especially as an option for that Spanish League challenge. So yeah, you might already have a version that's just as good, but if you don't, it's a really nice card, that. Dušan Vlahović is next. We got a goal poacher version. He's normally a fox in the box. We've had a few versions of Vlahović in the past. Some of them have been poachers, some of them have been fox in the box. He has a face scan. He's got inconsistent form. That's probably fair, to be honest. He's been displaced at Juve by Carlo Morano, but he came back in and got, I think he got 2 goals at the weekend. We've had, I think, 4 previous Player of the Week versions of Vlahović. This new one, when he's not on A or B form, this new one is probably just about the best. But 2 of the previous Player of the Week cards do have boosters. So when he's on A form, those boosters make both of those previous versions of him slightly better than this one. So it's not the best version of Vlahović, Player of the Week wise. The best trainable versions of them are slightly better than this one, but the stats are shuffled around. The main difference is that those trainables, they're not as good on the ball, but they tend to have better awareness and finishing, and those are the 2 most important attributes in a striker. So yeah, this is a good version of Vlahović, but it's not the best. It's an interesting kind of profile they're giving him. The balancing of his attributes on the ball is where he's had a big boost from his GP card. They've taken, I make it 5 points off his attacking awareness. Taken 1 off his finishing as well. On a goal poacher, it's just a weird one. They've changed his playing style to a goal poacher and made his attributes more fitting for a fox in the box. Why? I don't understand. Fox in the box, it's more important to be good on the ball. He's a big physical guy. Goal poacher, you want the pace, the awareness, and the finishing. They've changed him from a fox in the box to a goal poacher, and they give him less awareness, tiny bit less finishing, and made him better on the ball. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's not the right profile for me. Yes, it's still a good card. Yes, the pace is just about alright for a poacher. It's not. I'd like him to be a bit quicker. Ideally, I'd like 90 plus on the speed and acceleration once he gets his game plan boost. So he's a little bit short of what I'd like pace wise in a goal poacher. And same with the awareness of finishing. I want to be hitting 90 on those 2 with it once he's in the game plan for a goal poacher. Again, he won't be too far off. With the maximum boost, you get an 88 awareness and finishing. So he's not bad with the awareness and finishing. I would just like him to be higher. So yeah, they've just not quite given him a profile that really fits the goal poacher playing style quite right for me. It's quite a frustrating version of Vlahović, but it's still a good one. He's still got a bit of pace. He's still got a bit of awareness and finishing, and he's definitely a lot better on the ball than he often is. He's had a nice boost on his on-the-ball attributes compared to his GP card. He's had a bit of a boost to his passing as well and to his pace. So yeah, to be fair, the boost to his pace does suit the poacher playing style. I'll be fair on that. It's just a little bit annoying that they've taken a bunch of points off his awareness. So yeah, maybe I'm being a bit harsh overall, but I just don't think he's quite got the attributes to make him a great poacher. A good one, certainly. And I've had a couple of versions. I think I've still got both my versions of Vlahović. I've got a Fox in the Box Player of the Week card. It's one of the better ones. And I've got a trainable. God knows when that's from. But they're both very good, I've got to say. He's got a really good shot on him. He's got good kicking power, which helps a lot with shooting. What's they done skill-wise? They've given him one-touch pass, as well as boosting his passing, so that's good. Track back and fighting spirit, okay, fair enough. So he's got a pretty good selection of skills. Heading, he's not got acrobatic finishing or aerial, which is a shame on a big physical guy. But certainly with his feet, long range curler, knuckle and dipping shot, first time shot, and one-touch pass with the boost to his low pass, that will help. So yeah, the profile he's got overall, I think, is more suited to being a fox in the box, but they have given him a bit more pace. And even though he doesn't really need it quite so much for a goal poacher, it's nice that he's had such a big boost on the ball. So it's an interesting version of Vlahović. Certainly is a good one. It's not the best. We've had a few that are slightly better in the past, but yeah, I think for the Italian League challenge, certainly could be a very decent striker option. Depending on what options you've got in general, it could be a very useful striker for you to pick up. Like I say, in my experience, he is a big physical guy. He's not been brilliant on the ball, but he has been boosted in that regard. This version of him doesn't quite have the awareness that he usually does, but he can finish. He's always got a good finish on him, this guy, and he's got good physical strength, just a bit lacking in balance. And I just don't think some of the attributes, some of the most important ones, are quite where I'd want them to be for a goal poacher. So yeah, I don't want to sound too harsh on this guy, but I just think to give him the goal poacher playing style, he's not quite got the, some of the attributes aren't quite as high as I'd like him to be for it to be a particularly great card, but it's still a good one. And like I say, in my experience, he's a guy with the strength he's got, with his ability, the fact that especially being boosted on the ball, he's definitely going to be able to score goals for you. So if you've not got a good version of Vlahović already, then give him a try, because he could be a very decent one for you. Just even if I'm being a little bit harsh, I just feel like a few of the attributes could do with being a little bit higher. Certainly the attacking way, it's taking a bunch of points off that. Very annoying, but yeah, not as good as some previous versions of Vlahović, but certainly if you don't have a good version already and you get this one, it could be a very good striker for you to have in your squad. And next we have another booster, and we have another Nico Williams Player of the Week card. We've had a few, and I've got one which is pretty good. The two previous ones, which were whole players, are the best ones that we've had. This one's pretty similar overall, to be honest, just the stats have been kind of shuffled around a little bit. First thing I noticed, that attacking range is a bit low. That's a bit of a shame. But we've got a booster. Let's just boost him straight away. What do we get? So even better on the ball. Okay, I can see what's happening with this guy. It's one of these cards. So yeah, so Player of the Week wise, we've had a couple previous ones that were as good as this. They're both whole players. Trainable wise, we had a Showtime one. Of course, this Showtime version is the best, but this one's up there with the best trainables. But what they've done with his GP card, they have nerfed him on the ball, but when he gets A form, he gets some of those points back. Yay! Kicking barrel's had a bit of a boost. Balance is up a little bit. That's unusual on an attacking player, so that's good. Low pass is up a bit. Good. He's had a good boost on his finishing and his physical contact. We've lost a bit of speed, but you get it back when he's on A form, just like on the ball. Great. Yeah, so on the whole, yeah, I mean, you can afford to lose the points where they've nerfed him, to be fair, but it's just annoying that they've done that. But certainly on A form, you look at the ability this guy's got. Pace, good on the ball. He's got a finish. He's got long range curler, I'm sure, hasn't he? Yes, he's got long range curler. What have they done skill-wise? We've lost scissors, feint, and Scotch turn. We can live without them. We've gained double touch, so we've got double touch fit for soul control. We've got the ball roll double touch. The dribblers will be delighted about that. I think cut behind and turn is new, I think. And through passing, nice. So long range curler and through passing. Pinpoint crossing, nah. Lofted pass 72, still got a rubbish cross on him, but we've got long range curler off that left flank. Through passing is helpful as well. That's a good one. And outside curler is also helpful, even though he's very two-footed, great. So he can go inside and outside, excellent. So he's very comfortable on both wings. Yeah, this is a good version of Nico Williams. Like I say, Showtime's the best one. We've had a few previous ones that are as good as this one overall. But this is a good one. For me, the first thing I noticed, that attacking awareness only 74. That's the big letdown. It's not as high as I'd like it to be. But apart from that, though, pace on the ball with long range curler, certainly come off that left flank. Certainly going to be able to get a goal for you. Through passing helps because his low pass isn't brilliant. And for the dribblers, you like doing your skill moves. You've got your ball roll double touch now as well. So yeah, all things considered, it's a good version of Nico Williams. He's got his face scan with his fantastic hair. Yeah, in some areas, obviously you can't train these cards, so you might like the attack awareness to be a bit higher. That's the one real concern for me. But he's had a nice boost in some areas. Boost to his physical contact, that does help these days with wingers. Got unwavering form. Yeah, it's a good version. You might already have one like I have. I've got a previous whole player of the week version, so I don't need this one. But if you don't have a good version of Nico Williams, left wing or right wing, very two-footed, the pace, the trickery, and he can certainly score a few goals for you. Yeah, if you've got a good version, you might not need this one, but if you don't, it's a very good card, this, and certainly for the dribblers, you're like a pacey dribbler on the wings with a few skill moves and a bit of end product. Could be a really nice card to pick up, this. And finally, we have Szoboszlai from Liverpool, who is now centre forward with the deep line forward playing style. Interesting. So he's normally an orchestrator. They've added centre forward and SS, interestingly. So you've got two positions you can now play this guy, and he's weaker for accuracy. He's up by 1. That's good. Difficult to compare him to the previous versions because obviously I've changed his position and his kind of profile, but he's had a few Player of the Week cards. This one is one of the better ones overall. Like I say, different profiles. I think there was one that was a whole player. I would say that's the best version, certainly with his passing. I think that whole player version of Szoboszlai from a previous Player of the Week, I would say that's the best one. But overall, certainly, especially as an attacking midfielder. But this one obviously has got a centre forward and SS. It's a slightly different version of Szoboszlai. The best trainable versions of him are better as kind of attacking mids or as wide men, I would say, overall. And obviously they are trainable as well. You can't really get the awareness and finishing as high, though, on any trainable version of Szoboszlai. Even on a Showtime card, to be honest. But obviously those previous trainables are much better in terms of the on the ball and passing and stuff like that. It's a very different profile on this version of him. To be honest, if you train his GP card up as you can't train his GP card as a centre forward, but if you train his GP card as an SS, it's not a million miles away, to be honest. This one's obviously better, but I don't think there's a massive difference between this and his GP card as an SS, if you were looking at him as an SS. So yeah, it's an interesting one. It's just the playing style and centre forward. It's what position you're going to use him and how good is he going to be there. You know, like I say, previous versions tend to be better as an attacking midfielder. It's low pass at only 82 is not that great. Yeah, I'm sure he's got one touch and through passing, of course, like he normally does, but not so great for me as a midfielder. I think you're going to look at this guy as a very attacking player, either as a winger or as a centre forward or SS. As a centre forward, attack awareness 83, finishing 84. I don't know. He is a deep line forward, though. That's the thing. So as a deep line forward, he's not going to be looking to burst in behind the defence at every opportunity. He's going to be dropping deep and looking to get on the ball and get involved in the build-up. And he is good on the ball for a striker, and his passing is good for a striker. He's got one touch and through, and long range shooting, and his kicking power is pretty good. It's going over 90 with the game plan boost. So for a deep line forward, it's actually a pretty interesting profile. For me personally, that playing style will be active SS as well. I think a little bit deeper will be where this guy's best. If you've got a goal poacher up top, maybe a fox in the box, but I think certainly a goal poacher, putting this guy just behind as an SS, I think he could be pretty decent there. I think that could be the best way to use this guy. Skill set is good. What they changed skill wise, they've taken away. I changed a few, so I think flip flap is gone. Marseille turn again, they always get rid of that. Knuckle shot's gone. Captaincy, I think, as well. We've gained first time shot, so that's an important one on the centre board, obviously. I think we've gained pinpoint crossing. Is that new? Apparently it is. Track back and fighting spirit, of course, on an attacking player. So yeah, on a deep line forward, you've got pretty much everything you need there. You've got your shooting skills. First time shot is a big one, but we've got the passing skills as well. Could be an interesting option as an SS. It just comes down to that playing style, really. If that deep line forward playing style works for you, I think potentially as a centre forward, especially as an SS, but in either of those positions, really, bearing in mind the attacking awareness and finishing aren't quite as important with that playing style, he's got a very interesting profile to kind of play that role. I don't think it's an amazing card, you know. In some areas, you know, I'd like a bit more balance. If you were going to be playing deep as an SS, I'd like a bit more on the passing if I'm being greedy. And like I say, as a centre forward, I like more awareness and finishing. But overall, the ability he's got, I think certainly this guy's shooting. Yeah, the passing for a centre forward will be very decent. And the SS, it'll be okay. But that 84 finishing with long range shooting, high kicking power. He's got a lot of curl as well. He's got long range curl. He's got long range curl as well. Interesting. He could be an option off the left flank. He's not the quickest. Certainly the acceleration is not amazing. But yeah, that's an option for you. It's just like I say, compared to other versions, he's not quite as good on the ball. I'm just not sure which position he'd be amazing in. You know, I think from the left flank with his long range curlers, he's going to have a really nice long range curler on him with the finishing and especially the curl and the kicking bar hitting 90. Through the middle, like I say, depends where you want to use this guy. But centre forward or SS, maybe wide left. I think those three positions with this guy, I don't think he's going to be amazing in any of them, but certainly it's a very different version of Szoboszlai, depending how you use him. If the profile and the playing style work for you, you've got a few ways you could use this guy. It's a very interesting version of him. And whichever way you use him, if he works for you, it could be a very interesting card because there's plenty of end product there. And it's a very different version of him. So, yeah, if you're a fan of Szoboszlai and you know, the overall profile he's got works for you, this could be a really interesting card. I just think it's one of these cards where he's not going to be for everyone. For me, I don't think there's any way I'd be able to fit him into my team. I don't really get along with the deep line forward playing style, but if you're a fan of the guy, and before I forget, I've remembered everyone up to this point, I think. Almost forgot Szoboszlai. He's got his face scan. I think that probably needs an update as well. They need to update a lot of face scans, don't they? But yeah, if everything works for you, it could be a great card, very interesting version of him, very useful one. I don't think he's gonna be quite the card that everyone wants in this pack, but certainly for quite a few people, it can be a very interesting version of Szoboszlai. It could be a very effective one as well. So there is your Player of the Week pack. I think that's a reasonable one. I don't think it's a massively exciting one, but I think there's some decent cards in there. I think Milinković-Savić, massive goalie with a great beard. I think it'd be a fun keeper to have. I think I'm quite keen to get him. Asensio could be a pretty useful card. Modrić, if you don't already have a good version of Modrić, that might be a really fun one for you to pick up. Lookman's another good version of Lookman. Ito, solid. Don't think it's an amazing one though. And Mbeumo, likewise. Certainly could be a useful one, but I don't think it's that exciting a card. Olmo, that is a good version of him. Vlahović could be a good striker for a lot of people. Nico Williams, really good card. If you like that kind of card, pace, trickery, could be a really nice one to pick up. Szoboszlai, not going to be for everyone, but if you do like the profile, if you like Szoboszlai, could be a really fun card to pick up. Could be a very good one. So yeah, some decent ones in there. One or two not so good. I mean, Jubal, however you say his name, not so great. One or two others aren't necessarily the best version of the player, or they're just maybe not that amazing, like Ito and Mbeumo, for example. But that's not to say they're bad cards by any means. I think on the whole, it's a pretty solid selection. Not the most exciting, but not the worst either. So yeah, it's not a bad one. And I'm going to be doing I'll do my free spin on stream. I'm hoping to do a stream this afternoon. Recording this Friday morning. So yeah, today, Friday afternoon, hopefully I'll be doing a stream. If not, then I'll try and do one at some point over the weekend. I'll do my free spins and everything at that point. So yeah. For now, thank you for watching. Hopefully you found that useful. Let me know who you've spun. Let me know what you think of the pack. And as I said at the start, I'll be reviewing the Champions League pack next. I'll get right onto that now, and hopefully that one will be live later today as well. So keep your eyes out for that one. Thank you again for watching. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you soon.